Donna Yeager and her many friends, co-workers, and classmates have all helped create 465 on-the-move public access TV shows that have provided 37 years of fun, information, and inspiring stories about people with disabilities who stay on the move regardless of their physical needs. Donna's dream ever since 1974 in high school was to have her own television show to educate people about accessibility for people with physical disabilities. Donna started producing her show under the encouragement and guidance of Elliot Margulies, director at the De Anza Public Access Studio at Flint Center at the time. Donna's college friends operated the studio equipment, from cameras to the complex production equipment. They learned how to edit the footage shot in the studio and on location to create 30-minute on-the-move shows. Shows covered a wide range of topics, including skiing for the disabled, whitewater rafting, scuba diving, veterans triathlons, museum tours, medical breakthroughs, stem cell research, cure versus care. 37 years of inspiring survival stories. For our first guest, Donna is happy to reminisce with Elliot Margulies. Elliot started our first show. He celebrates with us here today for our 37th year and final season. Our second guest, Glenn Kaplan, has been a crew member for years. In recent years, he has highlighted current medical improvements to make life more manageable for diabetics. Our third guest, Dave Larwood, has been our narrator, worked every show position, and is a lifelong friend. We appreciate crew members, friends, families, and guests who helped pitch in when needed, wherever needed, and however needed to produce 465 quality episodes for Able Cable Productions of On the Move. Crew members committed more than 8,000 total hours to make On the Move successful. Tonight, our host, Donna Yeager, reunites with Elliot Margulies, Glenn Kaplan, and David Larwood.
Hi, I'm Donna Yeager with On the Move, and I'd like to welcome our very special guests, Elliot Margulies. Welcome, Elliot.
Thank you.
And Glenn Kaplan. Welcome, Glenn. And Dave Larwood. Welcome, Dave. Thank you. Now, Elliot, you have been such an inspiration to me for so many years, and I want to thank you so very much. Tell us a little bit about your feelings of when you first started working at the studio a couple of years ago.
A couple of years ago, that's kind of you. Well, you know, I started in public access television with a background from making some documentaries, and I'd been politically involved, maybe not on the same side as your dad all the time, but when you came in, when you rolled in with your vision of making a show, it was like, yes, this is what it's about. It's about people coming in with a specific audience in mind, a targeted message, and really having a passion for something that's going to make a difference, not only in the lives of the people making the show, but the people that are going to get to see this show. They're not going to get to see many shows like this. And that speak to them so directly. So I was thrilled when you showed up. And there was one other thing that was equally great in my memory, and that was the sheer number of friends that you brought with you to get trained for how to run the studio. Because at De Anza College, we had 0 staff. We had one part-time studio technician who would be in there. And everything else was up to the volunteer crew. And so we put them through some quick training, maybe 3 or 4 sessions, and then you were on your own for 37 years.
So I only got 1 session.
You only got 1? Well, I think what happens is people over time, the camera person will train a new camera person, and the audio person will train
and
a
so
new
on,
one,
and so on.
And so it stops coming back to my office. But no, it was a great privilege. You said it was great to have me. I felt the same way. Like, you're doing what we're supposed to be showing here. And those years when I was at De Anza, they were fairly early in the whole movement of community television. And twice, I think it was 86 and
Yeah,
88,
yeah.
we won the award for best channel in the country.
Wow.
And On the Move was a key part of what we submitted when we submitted an entry tape about what happened in our studio.
Wow, cool.
Yeah. So
That's
thank
great.
you.
Thank you. No, really, thank you. Well, I really wanted to emphasize that mostly ever since I was in high school and junior high school, there was a need living back east to educate people about disability issues, people with physical disabilities. And, just because you had a disability, I just wanted people to realize that you could do anything you want as long as it's legal. But, and the sky was the limit. So that was the most important thing to me, was to teach people that. And even like early on, there were awards that you could apply for, but I didn't want that. I didn't really care about the awards. I just wanted to teach as many people as possible. But the awards were fun too, I must say.
You won't turn them down.
No,
Yeah.
and we did. We were very honored to receive a lot of them. But the only irony to that was that in order to accept the awards, my mom would frequently have to climb up the 6 or 7 steps
Yeah.
to get to the stage. Nobody could see me. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
But that was a part of educating too. And that wasn't you. That was the other,
Right.
big organizations that ran the awards program. So
But I got educated in the process as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember, I don't know if you can tell me who it was, but I remember the first training session that
Yeah.
I did with your group in the studio.
right.
And the guy I was going to train to be the audio person, he said, well, just one thing, I'm blind.
Oh, right.
So do you remember who that was?
I do. Yeah.
And I realized, this is going to be a learning experience for me. But if he's got the courage to take this on without sight,
Yeah.
then I better get my act together to train him well. And he did great. I mean,
Yeah.
but it was a process that I was getting educated at the
Right,
same time that I was giving whatever training I could.
Yeah. Oh, it
That
was
was a
great.
gift for us few able-bodied people that were on the show. I had the exact same moments going, hey, look at all these people, what they can do.
That's right.
And what am I doing here? I got to carry my weight.
That's right.
And it was incredible. And I was so lucky. It was just a simple little twist of fate that brought me to you. And I was working for a congressman at the time, remember? Congressman Tom Campbell there, right? And I wasn't supposed to be in there that day. I happened to go in. They said, there's a group that does our town hall meetings. They shoot our town hall meetings. We need someone to go in there and be our liaison with them. Would you mind? Sure. Little did I know that I'd work for this congressman for another 3 months, and here I am 30 years later. And
That's right.
yeah, so you guys were so kind and brought us in, and immediately we learned. I thought that I was going to learn how to do camera, sound, editing, directing, all these different parts of video production. Little did I know what I'd really be learning. About life, about passion, about the inspiration, about educating, about community. So it has been.
Well, I mean, even in the studio itself, I mean, all the buttons were easily accessible for people in wheelchairs. As you said, people who are visually impaired, some people with the hearing disabilities. So we had all, people from all different aspects of disabilities, who were able to work with the show and work with the studio, because you guys were so helpful and open and understanding, and really, embraced the amazement of all the different disabilities that were being represented there. So, but we really did appreciate it. It was so much fun.
Still is.
Yeah. And Dave, you were able to be involved with the crew with a lot of the on-location shoots, because you have to travel a lot.
Well, I got recruited to this at an awards ceremony where my singing group was on the program, and your parents said, "Oh, come be on the show." And when they saw my post-polio limited movement, they said, "Oh, you have to be on our show." And this mysterious Donna was far away. I kept hearing stories about Donna, but I came in with my ski that I break because I ski too hard and do all that stuff and telling stories. But then I learned that Donna was even more amazing when I started seeing this stuff and the various people. You were this faraway person. These people I didn't meet would come in, and I got to get involved even in producing a show a couple of times and learned all the roles. And I had some experience. I'd been trained here. They won't let you touch any equipment at KMVT until you're highly trained.
Yes, right.
But they actually let me, play actually all the roles here. But the on-location stuff was a lot of fun. So I had met through another situation a young doctor who had a spinal cord injury and was confined to a wheelchair. He was a nice guy. We had a nice conversation about that. And after I did the show for about 10 years. Maybe 5 years into this, I see this guy. I go, "Oh, I remember you." And he was on because he was using a Segway to cruise around.
Yeah.
Now, with a spinal cord injury, you can't walk. And with what they call AFOs, he was able to stand on his Segway and cruise around. And one of the things that I found very interesting was he's tall, good-looking, on a Segway, young, and he's cruising around on a Segway. He knows he's free because he gets this mobility. Nobody else knows that. They think he's some hoity-toity whatever. So he had to put a blue placard on to be knowledgeable. Don and I went on a wonderful field trip to a group in Berkeley that has adapted living devices, and there is our host there has a Segway wheelchair. Which just scoots all over everything. And he took us outside and showed us, going through the gardens and up and down dirt and speeding much faster than we could move.
Faster than Donna?
Almost.
It was neck and neck, so to speak.
It was.
I think there's a kind of fittingness that you've done this show in the Silicon Valley all these years, because when you talk about technology, a lot of people think computers, but when you look at all the technology that's probably come into devices that you use, and I remember you doing the piece about your van and how you were able to be a driver with, I think you were using your mouth to...
push some of the buttons.
Yeah.
It was.
I mean, but...
It's even more fun riding with her.
Oh, great.
If you're brave enough, I'll take it.
And that's where the mission of educating from the show comes in, right?
Right, exactly.
And we did a show just a couple years ago. Probably 2 years ago. With when we did our show on diabetes and the new tools that are out there, the insulin pumps and tools that people probably don't know about, who are sitting in some room and unable to go out, having difficulties, and we did a wonderful show on pediatric type 1 diabetes and brought in all the gadgets, and my daughter was on the show. She was diagnosed years ago, and it was nice in so many ways. We were able to educate and teach and show people who probably don't have access or don't know that these tools are out there, how their lives can be enhanced. And it was wonderful for me to watch her. And I learned about giving and charity and various things from my parents. My dad and mother both, and my wife, and now being able to see my daughter be part of On the Move was incredible.
That was great.
That was a wonderful moment.
Your comment about the range, your comment about the range of abilities is quite amazing. One of the shows that I did here was with a guy who was a spinal cord injury, about a T7 or so, and he would go scuba diving with friends. He'd find ways of doing this adaptive thing. I happened to be in Chicago last week, and I toured an ability lab in Chicago that's part of Northwestern Medical School, and the technology is so amazing. I got to see a hand, the manipulative hand, and you walk in and there's this space, and lots of people are in wheelchairs. It's just this is where we are. We all are living normal lives. And I had a chat with an older woman walking with a cane, and she wanted her cane to be prettier. So it's lovely.
Well, also because I was very thankful to be involved with the On the Move, I was able to travel a lot. So I went to Japan, and my friend Betsy is here, and I wish I could make her run up on stage, but she's I don't know where she is right now, but anyway, she went with me to Japan, and we had a wonderful time talking about disability issues, and we sang in about 6 concerts all over Japan.
Wow.
Oh, and then I also spoke in a media, disabled people in television, and I was the only woman, the only disabled woman for this entire, nationwide for the whole world, actually. I was the only woman that was allowed to be on camera. I guess people in Sri Lanka and other parts of the world don't want the disabled person in front of the camera. It's like, well, that's the way we do it. So they weren't too happy with that. That's okay.
Yeah.
Bold move by the young challenger.
It happened.
But I mean, you know, I'm very thankful that we were able to do all that wonderful traveling, and it was great. And speaking of traveling, Dave, you've been all over the place with your groups, with your concert groups.
So I'm a scientist, and so I go out, I travel lots of places.
Yeah.
So you mean my singing group?
Yeah, you're singing.
Well, in college we went to toured Europe, which was a lot of fun. So in college I wore my brace most of the time. I didn't use the crutches as much. But still going up and down steps was kind of a pain. But it's just fun to share music, and I'm going to throw that back at you because, you know, when the mysterious Donna, who I didn't meet for several years, the lead-in show for the program had this band. I guess it was closing music. Had a band singing the theme song.
On the Move.
And I was very impressed by that. So you've done your music in a lot of places.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun with traveling all over. And then Glenn, your family, like we were saying a minute ago, that you have a beautiful family, and we have a photo for you guys. I think we can find it. It's right after our.
From which shoot do you think this was from?
With the when we talked about diabetes.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, right there they are. There you guys are.
There we are. That's
Oh,
nice. It's been so
beautiful
nice the way you
family.
include us in your family.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we appreciate you guys. You've taught me a lot. I didn't know 90% of the information that you guys talked about, so that's a lot of.
Well, you taught me skiing. You taught me whitewater rafting. You taught me salmon fishing. You taught me.
You're a salmon
mountain
derby. No
That's with nets.
Yeah. Nowhere else would you wake up at 4 a.m, drive to Monterey.
That might be my most memorable show because I think you had to learn.
Yeah.
And you guys were so willing to teach quickly. Yeah. Not willing is the wrong word. You're going to learn. But you learn all the different parts of production, and then say, okay, this is your first show, and I was able to date it because I found the tape, which I still have, and it was right after the earthquake show that you guys did about accessibility during the earthquake, and all the the accessible things were down, and I was just watching that video today. It was incredible. But we did Vets with Nets. We took 20 some odd disabled veterans out fishing in the Half Moon Bay, and then came back into the studio with them. And that was the most memorable for me. That was my first production.
Right.
I brought a little prop here. There was a guy named Gene Miller.
Oh,
I've never
wow.
forgotten Gene. This was 1989 because it was when the
cool.
earthquake was, right?
Yeah.
We called him Gene the Salmon Machine. And he had the most amazing time. But I was watching the show, and he says, he had a throat injury. He was paraplegic, and he says, the idea was appealing to me, but I hesitated. I didn't know what to expect being the new injury.
Yeah.
But it showed me that the opportunity for me in life is unlimited. I am limited only by my own imagination, where if I think it, if I believe it, I can do it. I know that now.
Yay!
And he just said that off the cuff.
All
We shot out on site in Monterey. We came into the studio, and he just said that.
Oh, cool.
And I remembered it. I didn't remember the exact words, but I've always remembered that, and it's
Right.
incredible. And that's really what it's all about.
Awesome. And then we had Gary Brewster, who has been a long, long time on the Move crew member. And it's really neat, the photograph that we have of, we've been highlighted in quite a few nice newspaper articles also. And so the progression of the equipment has been really fun too, to see where we started. It feels like a spaceship today, Boo beep beep, boo beep beep. But it's been a lot of fun. We've had a wonderful time.
But the technology gets better too. So like you have the wheelchairs where that'll elevate people in more dimensions.
Yep.
Last time I was here a couple years ago, I was in a wheelchair after an accident, and I was reminded for several months. I was in a wheelchair, and I was reminded of these little things that we don't think about all the time.
Right.
I remember having a conversation with you. I don't know, maybe 4 years after I met you about height difference
Right.
and standing versus being short. I mean, there's all these things that we don't think about.
Right.
You do, and you're just always calm and gracious about all of it.
And they go, hello up there.
Tall is overrated. Don't worry about it.
Hello, hello.
I think when Glenn mentions his beautiful family,
Yeah.
you have an amazing
Yes.
family.
I'm very
And when I
thankful.
got to meet your parents, I could sort of see where the oomph comes
Yeah.
from, you know, because your parents were ready to jump in with you
Yeah.
and
Right.
and that belief in you that you have yourself.
Right.
I think they reflect that too.
That's right. Well, you don't know
Great
very
point.
many disabled people that, are in high school on the East Coast 1 week and then tell their parents, by the way, I want to move to California a week later and live on my own. It's like, you don't have that happen very
Wow.
often.
Did you do that?
I did that, yeah. So,
You
and
packed up and went out.
They were like, sure, you can live in your own apartment. See ya. No, I'm kidding. No, they were very
They were freaked out.
They were
right?
very supportive. But they still had another 2 or 3 years to
work.
to work
Yeah.
and finish up with their jobs. So,
Ah.
but it was great to jump right in there.
So how was it for you when
was good.
when you first got here and you're not?
Yeah, a little daunting, but luckily I had friends, from childhood that I got a hold of, and it was great. So, okay, actually, you know what? I want to talk a little bit about another interesting subject here, but also I want to thank you, and then I'm going to come back at the end in a minute here, and do the final thank you and the final closing. But I'd like to ask Kim to please come in. And we're going to say hello. Kim Carson, thank you, Kim. She's going to be our Vanna White today.
Today, Donna asked me to pass out some thank yous for the crew and people that she's worked with.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to read some names, and she's asked that you all come and grab your little certificate, with the exception of Bill, who's in the control room.
Right.
We'll get his. So we have Bobby.
Oops, Bobby Chastain. We'll give.
Bobby, we'll get
We'll
his
give him
later.
his.
Charles.
Oops, he's in Europe.
How about Dave?
That'd be
There's
me.
Dave right there. Wow, that
There we
was
go.
easy.
Whoops, sorry. That's Dave.
Ta-da.
And we have Deb.
Deb, she's right there. Yay. Thank you, Deb. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Let's see, and we have Dory. Is Dory
Oh,
here?
where's
Nearby.
Dory?
Our audio person. There.
Hey, that's you. Thank you, Dory.
All right, and we have Jerry.
Oops, Jerry's in Europe.
Jerry's in Europe. How about Glenn?
There he is, right there.
Glenn, that Glenn, with one N.
Thank you.
There we go.
Yay.
And Joan and Ron, I know are
Yeah, they're not here.
here. Joy, is Joy here?
Oh, no, she was going to come, but
Nope.
she's not here.
Levon.
Oops, she can't make it either.
How about Linda? I saw
Yeah,
Linda behind
Linda.
one of the cameras.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you, thank you.
Let's see, Matt.
Oh, Matt, where's Matt? He's
Back
in the other
there.
room.
That's in the control room.
He's
Mike's
coming.
in the back. Is Mike gonna come out?
Oh, Mike and Matt. Can Mike and Matt come at the
And
same
Robin.
time? Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Mike.
There's Mike.
You.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you very much. Mike.
And where's Robin? We need Robin,
Oh, Robin.
Tom, and there's Trish behind the other camera.
Oh, bring her out. Bring her forward. Let's see her.
Now let's have. Come back here.
Come on,
You can
Trish. Let's
wave,
see her.
Trish. Come on, wave.
I have to come out and wave.
Yes, yes, come on.
How about Tom?
Tom's not here.
Tom's not here. All right, that's
Did well.
everybody.
And I have Elliot.
Oh, Elliot's.
Is
There we go.
Oh, there you
There
go.
we go.
Okay.
Yay.
Did you get one?
We got them all. Mine is behind the scenes.
Okay.
Well,
All right.
Wonderful.
Congratulations
Yeah.
on it.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank Thank you very much.
The driving force of
You
all.
guys have been
this.
awesome. We have 1 minute. Well, I really want to thank everyone, and you know, this isn't goodbye, but we're going to start slowing down here a little bit, take care of our health, and but I think we'll do a couple of on location shoots here and there. So, but we really appreciate it, and thanks for all the hard work. I mean, it was fun. We really enjoyed it. So,
Congratulations.
thank you very much. Thank you.
Congratulations, Donna. Job well done.
Thank you.
Good shepherding.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, Elliot, thank you so very much
Oh
for joining
yeah,
us.
no, I was
Thank you.
just an early spark plug. That's all.
And Glenn, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much, Donna. That's meant so much. I appreciate it so much.
And Dave, thank you so much.
Don, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Kim, thank you very much. You're
welcome.
Thank you.
Happy to fill in when I can.
And thank you so very much. Until next time, I'm Donna Yeager with On the Move. Have a fantastic day. Yay.
If you see us in your businesses or see us on TV, don't be surprised, cause you'll see us there again.
And again.
Cause we're showing our abilities and building self-esteem. We're going places that we've never been.
Hey, we're on the move to make this world a better place. We're on the move, we're striking out to set the pace. We all can choose to make a difference. Our time is overdue. If we collect our dreams, take them on the move. We're on the move to make this world a better place. We're on the move, we're striking out to set the pace. We all can choose to make a difference. Our time is overdue. If we collect our dreams, take them on the move. If we collect our dreams, take them on the move. So let's pick up our dreams, take them on